People say winter is peaceful, quiet, a season of rest. But I learned something different last year. Winter doesn't bring silence. It brings voices. Ones that shouldn't exist. I was snowed in at a remote lodge off Route 88, a place hikers rented in summer but abandoned in winter. I wasn't hiking. I wasn't exploring. I was hiding. A week before, I'd quit my job, packed everything, and driven north until the road ended. I didn't want noise, or people, or questions. The world had become too heavy, and winter felt like the only season cold enough to hold what I was carrying. The storm hit on the second night, no warning, no gentle buildup, just a wall of wind and ice slamming against the cabin like the earth had turned to teeth. Power stayed on, but radio signals got weird. Static, whispers, broken weather alerts, predicting things that didn't happen. Then, around 11 p.m., the emergency channel crackled to life. Not with alerts, not with a ranger's voice, with a man screaming, "Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? Please. I'm freezing. I can't. My lights are gone." I froze, literally stopped breathing. The voice wasn't far away. You learn the difference when you live around old radios. The closer the transmission, the sharper the tone. This one sounded like it was broadcast from the next room. I leaned over the transmitter and spoke into the microphone. "This is a private lodge. Where are you?" Static, a long, shaky breath. Then, "I don't know. I can't see anything. It's all white. Please help if you can hear me. Don't hang up." His panic was so real it crawled under my skin. I asked for coordinates. His response chilled me deeper than the storm. "My GPS died. I can't feel my hands. I don't think I have hands anymore." I thought he meant numbness, frostbite confusion, hypothermia-induced delirium, until he said, "I hear them moving around me. I think they're trying to see if I'm still alive." A loud thump hit my cabin wall at that exact moment. I nearly threw the radio, but winter plays tricks, branches fall, ice shifts, wind punches walls. I forced myself to breathe. I told the caller I'd contact rangers on another frequency. He whispered, No, don't leave. Please don't leave." His voice broke, not like crying, like cracking, like pieces of him were freezing apart. I switched to the official ranger channel anyway. When they picked up, I spoke fast. "There's a man lost in the whiteout near Route 88. He's freezing and surrounded by something. He needs help now." The ranger paused for an uncomfortably long time. "Sir, we have no distress signals tonight." I insisted, gave the exact words the caller said. The ranger replied, "Emergency transmitters have been offline since 6 p.m. No signals can get through a storm like this." I stared at my radio. The caller was still on my line, still whispering, still freezing. When I switched back, he was crying softly. "My name? I can't remember my name. I had it a minute ago." That wasn't normal hypothermia talk. Then came a sound I will never forget. A scraping noise. Metal on metal. Slow. Deliberate. "They're touching my pack," he whispered. "They're no, please don't drag me." His voice cut off. Silence. Then, a deep, wet crunch, like snow compacting, or something stepping onto frozen flesh. I shouted into the mic. No answer. Static swelled so loudly I had to pull the radio back. Then, through the distortion, "If you're warm, please let me in." Not the same voice. Lower, thicker, too close. I looked at my front door. Snow was piled against it, but the handle was turning. Slowly, gently, as if trying not to wake me. I grabbed my axe, not to fight, just to feel like I still existed, and backed into the corner. The door creaked. Just a hair. Just enough to release a breath of cold, so sharp it stung my teeth. "Go away!" I yelled. The door froze mid-open, then shut. Hard. The radio crackled again. I didn't want to look, didn't want to hear anything more. But when I gathered the courage, the final thing I heard was my own voice. My exact voice saying, "I found him." For the rest of the storm, I didn't sleep, didn't move, didn't breathe right. When rangers finally reached the lodge 3 days later, they checked the area. No tracks, no body, no signs of struggle. But behind my cabin, buried in the snow. They found an old emergency radio, the kind hikers used 15, 20 years ago. It was smashed to pieces, fused with ice, and the rangers said something that makes me sweat even now. It hasn't worked in decades. So who spoke to me? Who asked to be let inside? Who used my voice at the end? Every winter since then, as soon as the first snow falls, my radio turns itself on, and somewhere, in the static, someone is still calling, still freezing, still waiting, still trying to find a way in.
Whiteouts are strange. People think they're just storms, heavy snow, low visibility, cold air slamming into your face. But a real whiteout is different. A real whiteout erases the world. It doesn't just hide things, it replaces them. Last January, I worked for the state's Highway Maintenance Division. Boring job, mostly overnight shifts clearing snow and salting roads. I'd done it for 7 years and thought I'd seen every kind of winter you could imagine. But nothing prepares you for a whiteout on Ridgeway Pass. Not the kind of whiteout that blindfolds you, the kind that listens. We were finishing our last patrol of the night when the snow started coming down sideways. You know, the kind wind so violent it feels like the sky is breathing right into your ears. My team was 4 guys. Me, Harris, Delgado, and a rookie named Vince. Good guys, hard workers, not easily scared. But the moment that storm rolled in, all of us went quiet. The plow's headlights evaporated into the snow just 10 feet ahead. The world disappeared. Sound died. Everything became thick, white static. "Pull over," Harris said. Not a request, a survival instinct. We stopped on the shoulder, emergency lights flashing, but the snow swallowed the orange strobes like a mouth closing over a candle. We decided to walk to the emergency shelter about a quarter-mile away. Standard protocol. We formed a chain hand on the coat of the man in front and walked blind, boots sinking, snow tearing sideways, breaths burning in our throats. Then we started seeing them. Shadows. At first I thought they were tricks of the whiteout, vague dark shapes drifting across our path. But shadows aren't supposed to move against the wind. One shape slid across the snow like it was gliding. No step, no stride, just motion. "Did you see that?" Vince whispered from behind me. Before I could answer, another shadow slithered past the edge of our light. Long, too long, like a person stretched the wrong way. We tightened formation and kept going. Then Harris stopped. "Where's Delgado?" he said. I turned. Only 2 silhouettes stood behind me, Vince and empty air. Delgado had been holding onto Vince's coat just seconds before. "Delgado!" we shouted into the storm. No answer, just the suffocating blanket of snow. We scanned the ground. No footprints leading away. No signs of a struggle. He had simply vanished. Fear does something strange in a whiteout. It doesn't spike. It sinks. It flattens you the way the snow flattens the world. We kept moving. At some point, the lights of the emergency shelter should have appeared. A glow, a shadow, something. Nothing came. Instead, we heard footsteps, but not ours. Something walked in a slow circle around us. Crunch, crunch, crunch. But the sound wasn't quite right heavy, but also hollow, like bones walking. Then it stopped. Ahead of us, a silhouette appeared. A tall shape, human-shaped, but still too still. Even in the whiteout, I could see it was wrong. Head tilted, arms dangling too low. No visible legs, just a tapering form that seemed to touch the snow and glide. Harris whispered, "Don't move." And then the silhouette, the one in front of us, flickered. Not like a light, like a reflection trying to become real. We took one step back. It took one step forward, except It didn't step. It just appeared closer, skipping the space between. Vince broke. He turned and ran blindly into the storm, screaming Delgado's name. I yelled after him, but the wind swallowed my voice. Another shadow slid past me, silent and tall. Harris grabbed my jacket. "Move," he said. We half walked, half stumbled through the blinding snow, until suddenly, like stepping out of a dream, the emergency shelter door slammed into my shoulder. We threw ourselves inside, shut the door, and locked it. Inside was a small propane heater, a logbook, and silence. I tried to calm my breathing while Harris checked the corners. Then he froze. "Jonah, come look at this." He pointed to the logbook. The last entry read, Jan 14 Whiteout. Seeking shelter. It's following us. The signature line wasn't blank. It had a name written on it. Mine. And the date wasn't today. It wasn't yesterday. It was tomorrow. I touched the ink. It was dry. Before either of us could speak, snow began to fall. Inside the shelter, thin flakes drifting from the ceiling, landing cold on my cheeks. Harris backed away. Something was forming in the corner, a shape pushing against the air, unfolding like a shadow turning solid. Tall, long arms, head tilting wrong. I grabbed the door handle, but it was frozen shut. Harris whispered, "We shouldn't have left the plow." They walked the whiteouts. The shape took one step, no, one slide, toward us. The heater flickered, the room dimmed, and before everything went black, I swear I heard a voice behind me, my own voice whisper, "Don't leave me again."
If you're still listening, you're braver than most. Make sure you subscribe to Broken Shadows. I post new terrifying stories every day, and the next ones are even darker.
People joke about winter traditions, snow angels, icicle lights, snowmen smiling in every yard. But snowmen are only cute when you know who built them. Last Christmas, Michigan got hit with a storm so bad the highways closed for a week. My family, my wife, our 2 kids, and me were stuck inside our house on Willow Ridge. At first, it was cozy, hot chocolate, movies, games, by the fire. Then the snowman appeared. No footprints around it. No signs of anyone coming onto the property. Just there, perfectly built, perfectly centered in our backyard. 3 snowballs stacked too smoothly. Coal eyes. A smile made of stones curved just a little too wide. Arms made of long, crooked sticks, not symmetrical like kids usually make. It stared directly at the kitchen window. My wife joked, "Someone's got talent." I laughed, but something in my stomach tightened. We didn't think much of it until the next morning. When it was closer, it now stood beside the garage. Still no footprints, still no tracks, still smiling that stone smile. My kids thought it was hilarious. They named it Mr. Hollow. But every time I looked at it, the same thought echoed in my mind. Who gets into a fenced yard during a blizzard without leaving tracks? That night, around 2 a.m., I woke to a brushing sound. Soft, slow, like something being dragged along glass. I sat up, heart pounding, and listened. Shh, scrape. Shh, scrape. I went downstairs, careful not to wake anyone. The curtains in the kitchen swayed slightly, as if disturbed by movement. I pulled them open. The snowman was right under the kitchen window, stone smile pressed inches away, coal eyes tilted upward, as if looking directly into the room where I stood. There were still no footprints, not a single mark in the snow, just smooth, untouched white around it. I checked every door locked. I checked the fence intact. No one could have gotten in, but something had. I barely slept. By morning, the snowman was at the back door, closer to the house than ever. My wife finally got nervous. "Kids, stay inside today," she said, trying to sound cheerful. But I saw her hands shake when she made breakfast. Around noon, I went outside to check it, to at least convince myself it was just a prank. Up close, the details were wrong. Its coal eyes weren't coal. They were smooth, polished stones, perfectly round, too perfect for random kids to find. The crooked branch arms had tiny grooves that looked like scratches, and the stone smile was embedded deep, like a wound carved into the face. I brushed snow off its chest and froze. Underneath, beneath a thin layer of ice, was fabric, something buried inside. A coat? Clothing? Skin? I stumbled back, fell into the snow. My breath fogged violently as I stared. The snowman leaned just a little to one side, as if adjusting its posture. I ran inside and locked the door. That night, the sound started again. Not brushing, not scraping, knocking, slow, deliberate. At the back door, my kids whispered from the hallway, "Daddy, someone's outside." I grabbed a flashlight and walked toward the noise. The knocking stopped. I turned on the light and froze where I stood. Snow was melting under the door frame. A small puddle, dark, wet, seeping inward. I yanked the door open, and there was nothing, just swirling snow. No snowman, no prints, no tracks in the white. I slammed the door shut. That was the moment I realized. It wasn't moving toward the house. It was learning how to get inside. At 4 a.m., I woke up to the sound of dripping water, steady, heavy, inside the house. I walked into the living room and saw the thing that still wakes me up sweating. A mound of melting snow on the carpet. Large, three-tiered, slowly collapsing into a puddle. And sitting on top of it, two perfectly polished stones, and a row of human teeth, real ones, yellowed, uneven, set into a curved smile. The snow had melted from the inside, not the outside, as if something warm had been inside it. Alive. I don't remember screaming. My wife says I did, says the neighbors heard. The police came once the storm cleared, and after searching the house and yard, they told us it was probably a prank. Kids messing around. Kids don't use real teeth. Kids don't move through snow without footprints. Kids don't melt from the inside out in someone's living room. We moved out 3 weeks later, but I know the truth. It wasn't a snowman, not really. It was something else wearing a shape people wouldn't question. Something that wanted warmth, or a family, or a house. And wherever we go next, I can feel winter watching us. Because last night, in our new home, I saw frost forming on the inside of the window. Just a small patch, shaped like a smile.
Before you go, if you made it this far into the darkness, it means one thing. You're one of us now. Here in Broken Shadows, we tell real stories, the kind that stay with you long after the screen goes black, and the woods outside your window feel just a little too quiet. So if you want more true scary stories, more forest encounters, more things that should not exist but somehow do, subscribe. Join us. I upload new horror stories every night, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Stay safe, stay aware, and whatever you do, don't look behind you.